Welcome back to my channel, guys, for another Hot Toys unboxing and review video. On today's video, guys, we are finally going to get to review the Amazing Spider-Man from the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie. I have been waiting so long for this figure. I am so excited to get this reviewed with you guys. To me, in my personal opinion, we are about to review the best suit ever created in live action movie for a Spider-Man. Not the best Spider-Man, because to me that is Tobey Maguire, but the best suit that I've ever seen in live action movie. So very excited to get started with this video. Before I do start with the video, as usual, guys, want to thank you for the continued support on the channel. We have finally hit 100 subscribers, which is my first goal of many. Thank you so much for continuing to support the channel. It truly means a lot. For those of you guys who have not yet subscribed to the channel, feel free to do so. It is totally free. And also hit the notifications bell so that way you guys can stay updated with my upcoming videos and any upcoming content that I will be posting. With that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get started with the review. We start with the box review, guys, as usual. So with this box, I quickly want to mention, so this is based on the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie, not Spider-Man No Way Home. I'll touch into that a little bit later on as to why that could be. But starting with this box, we of course have the name of the figure at the very bottom. We of course have Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man across the whole cover. Let me just say this about the main cover. It looks absolutely beautiful. So as you guys can see, we have a red and blue background in the back, which of course makes sense. We do have some imagery from Spider-Man in the movie. I do apologize about the light. I know that you guys are not going to be able to see the imagery that clear, but I will try my best. We have this other Spider-Man imagery over here on the right side. That would be from the opening scene. We have a little bit of spiderweb action, the name of the movie, another image here at the top left. The red looks absolutely phenomenal, and we do also have a little bit of blue electros lighting on it. Looks really great. I really love this cover, even though it is not No Way Home themed. On the right side, we have pretty much a whole red cover. We have the remaining left foot of Andrew. We have, of course, the name of the figure in the middle, along with his logo in the middle. We have these kind of hexagonal shapes across the whole red cover, which represent the way that his suit is made. We have some spiderweb at the left, a little bit of lighting at the very top and at the very bottom. On the back, we have this Spider-Man logo on the blue cover. Hopefully you guys can take a look into that. It does look better in person, maybe not so much in video, but we have more red and blue across the whole main cover, along with the instructions, some lighting, some spider web. Looks absolutely phenomenal. And then on the left, pretty much the same as the other side. So we have more lighting at the very top and at the very bottom, along with that whole red cover across the side. The name of the figure, more spider web, which kind of connects with the main cover imagery, as you guys can see there. And of course, this logo in the middle. So I'll be honest with you guys, even though it is not a No Way Home theme base, this box is absolutely phenomenal. And I really love it. We get to the second box, guys. So as you guys can see, and this is a pretty regular when it comes to Hot Toys, we always have a clear view of the figure. So very excited to get him opened already. But we start with the right side of the second box. We just have the name of the figure, the spider logo, and a blue color for the cover. On the back, we have the figure, the Hot Toys logo, and the name of the figure at the bottom. His spider logo behind them. And then we have the beautiful phrase, "With great power comes great responsibility." I am very glad, and I think this is a very touching detail by Hot Toys to include this with not just this figure, but any Spider-Man figure. On the left side, same thing as the right side. So with the second box, no issues, off to a great start. And now we finally have the figure on its own. So as I am unboxing the figure, just quickly wanted to mention, so as to why this figure is from the Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie and not No Way Home, I'll be honest with you guys, I really wouldn't know. But at the same time, I have watched other collectors mention that since Marvel doesn't have the rights to the Andrew Garfield face sculpture, that could be the reasoning that they instead went with the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie logo. But as you guys can see right now with the figure, honestly, and no pun intended, this figure is amazing. He looks beautiful. The suit looks great, very well made. The body type is phenomenal. His face sculpture is great. His eyes are gray, not white, not sure why, but no issues there. But honestly, off to a phenomenal start with the figure. So obviously we will review him more in detail later on in the video, but before we do that, we are going to review the accessories one by one, and then we'll go from there. Okay guys, we get to the accessories. So as you guys can see, we don't have too many things with this figure, and I'll be honest, this is not something that I mind. And the reason why is because, again, this Spider-Man Andrew Garfield isn't one that has too many weapons on him. Obviously we have a lot of pairs of hands, and we'll go over them a little bit later on, but we start with this base, which is pretty much the regular hexagonal shape base. We have the Amazing Spider-Man right there in the regular font, along with, once again, the name of the movie at the bottom and his logo in the middle. We have kind of like a red with a blackish background on the side that is a scratchy surface. The base seems a little too simple for me, I'll be honest with you. I would have preferred maybe some blue electro lighting to cover, just like with the main box. We do have, of course, the regular flight pole, which is, I would say, the normal size that, you know, that also comes with other Spider-Man. So again, the base itself, I don't dislike it. It's really good, but it is a little too simple for me. I wish they would have included the electro lighting just like they did on the box, but not a bad start there. We do have a lot of things that are pretty normal with this figure, but we start now with the face sculpture. So once again, something that I do want to confirm is that this face sculpture is based on the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie, and that's something that Sideshow described on the figure. So this is not No Way Home. So if you ask me, yes, he looks exactly as Andrew Garfield based on that movie. Not in No Way Home. Obviously, in No Way Home, he's a little bit older. He's got a little bit of facial hair. His hair type is different. Here we're going based on the TASM 2 movie, so to me he does look exactly like he is in the movie. Now the hairpiece, I do think that it's a little bit too long on the sides and a little bit too short off the top, just my personal opinion. Again, the face sculpture I do think is good enough. The hairpiece could have done some work. And then of course we have the part where we actually can see his neck, and we'll touch that a little bit later on in the video. But so far, off to a good start with the face sculpture. We then of course get to something that we see very regularly with all Spider-Man figures, and that is the lone Spider-Man mask. I do want to confirm once again, this is not something that you can put on Andrew Garfield's face sculpture. This is pretty much just something that he can hold onto his hand, so that you guys have options when it comes to posing. Looks good there. We have this regular piece of spider web that you guys can use also as a different way of posing the figure. No issues there. We have the other spider web pieces, which again, pretty much regularly on other Spider-Man figures. No issues there, to be honest with you. I think that the spider web pieces that Hot Toys include are perfect. And as I always say, it gives you different options when it comes to posing the figure, right? Right here we have the 5 normal pieces, so off to a great start there. We do have this little 2 pieces that basically they go installed on the palm of the hand that has the spider web post, right? And we'll go over that a little bit later on in the video. So we include those 2 pieces there, one for the left hand, one for the right hand. No issues there whatsoever. And then we have a lot of hands that we have to go over with. So right here we start with these 2 pieces of hand. They have, of course, him pointing with both right and left hands. Let me just say this about the web and the fabric and color of this of the hands. They look absolutely phenomenal. As you guys can see, the black spider web lines, they look great with the red. It's just absolutely beautiful how it looks. We then have these 2 hands that are not just completely closed fist. They have little holes on the sides of the hand. Those are where you can basically install the webs and have them pose in different ways if you guys want to. So no issues there. Again, as I mentioned before, the texture and color on the hands is absolutely amazing. We get to these ones where, again, just different pose. I don't think this is necessarily one to grab onto anything. It's just a way of posing him, you know, depending on what fighting style you want to pose them with, but they look good there. We have these other 2 hands that are more open. They're more balanced as far as the hand posture, and this pretty much gives them an option where he's fighting or trying to grab onto something, so they look great there. We get to these other 2 hands, which I mentioned before are pretty much him holding the spider web pose. Again, those are a must always for every single Spider-Man figure. They look great there. As I mentioned before, and we can go ahead and try this right now, guys. So obviously you guys are able to remove this right piece. For those of you guys that don't know, basically it is placed onto pressure, so you guys are just going to remove that right part, as you guys can see, and that's where you guys can go ahead and install that piece where you guys can put the spider web in to have him pretty much hold a sign of him posing with the spider web. And again, it just gives you so many different options when it comes to posing him. So as you guys can see, we have that there. And then if you guys want to, we can go ahead and install one of the spider web pieces so that you guys can just pretty much take a look and see how he looks. Obviously, most of the collectors already know this. This is pretty much like knowing your ABCs. But for those of you guys who have never purchased a Hot Toys figure, just kind of want to show you how this works. And that's how you pretty much can have him pose with a spiderweb piece. So off to a great start there. So we have this final handpiece, which I did see with the integrated suit Spider-Man from Tom Holland, and that's him holding the peace sign. I think this is very creative. I like the fact that they have it. I wish they would have it for both hands, but the fact that they just have it for one, I think it's very creative, and as I always say, it gives you so many options to posing the figure. So far, that is it for the accessories. Love them all. No complaints whatsoever. Onto the figure, guys. As I mentioned before, this to me is the best Spider-Man suit I've ever seen in any live action movie. I just love how the suit looks, how the spider webs connect, his eyes, they look phenomenal. Now, regarding the eyes, now correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think the eyes are supposed to be white, and that's what I've noticed from the movie, along with the box that we have for the figure. They made them gray. Not sure why they went with that. To me, it's not too much of an issue because the figure still looks really good, but not sure why they decided to go with that. We get to the neck piece, guys. So this is something that I am so excited that they decided to finally do. So as I mentioned on my Spider-Man black and gold suit with Tom Holland, something that really bothered me is the connection between the neck and the face sculpture. Now Hot Toys decided to connect the neck and the face sculpture, and to me, as you guys can see, it just looks so much better. You guys are able to turn the head and it looks more natural on the figure. Obviously the neck and the chest piece or back piece aren't the greatest connection, but at the same time, I don't really think you can ask Hot Toys to make a perfect human figure. But to me, this is just much better than for example, the Tom Holland integrated suit or the black and gold suit. The suit itself, guys, it just looks absolutely phenomenal. Again, as I mentioned before, to me, this is the best Spider-Man suit I have ever seen. There's just something about how the spider webs connect on to the red part of the suit along with the blue. It just looks great. As you guys can see with the hands, you guys are, you know, just like any other Spider-Man, you guys are able to flex the hands any way you want to. It gives you so many options when it comes to posing, and for some reason, again, not sure if I'm wrong with this opinion, but to me, it feels like this Andrew Garfield Spider-Man is more flexible than any other Spider-Man. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but it just seems to be that way to me from what I've seen from the movies. Again, with the legs, same thing, just like the arms, you guys are able to bend and stretch them any way you want to, just to give you options when it comes to posing the figure. As you guys can see, the blue part of it seems to be like leather, but I don't think it is leather. It just seems that way. Either way, the fabric of the suit is very nice and very well made. And again, as you guys can see, it doesn't leave too many stretch marks, and that's something that I'm really glad to see when it comes to the figure. Same thing with the sides and the back. As you guys can see with the back, and we have that beautiful spider logo on the back side. On the back, we're able to see more of the blue and the fabric on it, and to me, it looks great. Have no issues whatsoever with this suit whatsoever. To me, the body type does represent Andrew Garfield in the movie. Again, we're going based on the Amazing Spider-Man 2 and not No Way Home, right? So if you're asking me for the actual movie, that TASM 2, he does look exactly as that figure. Now, let me go ahead and connect the Andrew Garfield face sculpture onto this body. As you guys can see, he looks pretty good, but I will mention one issue, and this is the issue. I can't flip the head. And to me, I have an issue with that. And I'm not sure if it's because of how they connected the face and the neck piece onto the figure, but the fact that I'm not able to flip it does give me some issues, and it makes me very limited when it comes to posing the figure. As you guys can see, even the neck piece and the chest piece don't connect as well as I would have wanted. It does seem to be a little bit more loose than it should be. And again, as the fact that I'm not able to flip the face left or right does give me some issue. We look at the sides. Again, it looks really good, and we can look at the back. As you guys can see, it's not connecting as good as it should be. So that is, I can't lie, a little bit of a disappointment for me when it comes to the figure. Even though if you just see the imagery, he looks great, right? Obviously, the neck and the face connect much better than, for example, like the Tom Holland figure. But still, the fact that I'm not able to, you know, turn the head does give me a lot of issues and a lot of concerns when it comes to posing. Now, getting to a comparison to my black and gold suit Spider-Man, as I mentioned before with the issues that I had, the fact with the neck and the face connection, you guys can see that with Andrew, the connection just looks so much better than with Tom Holland. Even though the face doesn't connect as well with the chest piece, still, you know, just for picture, for posing, it just looks so much better than what Tom Holland's figure. Okay, guys, and just a quick little side-by-side between Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland's suits. So obviously I'm comparing these two because obviously they were in the movie together. We are just missing the one and only Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, which to me is my favorite Spider-Man of all time. As you guys can see, the body types do represent the actors except for the height. So as you guys can see, they seem pretty much the same height, and I do believe that Andrew is 3 inches taller than Tom. And I have an issue with the fact that the heights aren't, you know, different. I think both figures are the same height, and that to me is a little quick issue. Even though Andrew's figure does seem more taller and longer, still, as you guys can see, standing side by side, they have the same height. Although the body type and the way and how thick the legs are and the arms, it does seem similar to the actors. That would probably be my only issue, right? But other than that, guys, very excited that I have these two with one more Peter remaining. Okay, guys, we get to the final part of the video, which is the posing and my final thoughts. So yes, I mentioned a couple of quick issues that I had with the figure, which were the Andrew Garfield's connection as far as the neck and the body piece. And then I also mentioned, of course, the fact that he doesn't seem to be as tall as the actual actor himself. But other than that, guys, I think this figure is completely amazing. I love it. I am so glad I picked them up. And yes, I would definitely recommend it. Just nostalgia alone, right? Obviously, this guy, we love him. We love Andrew Garfield. Who doesn't love Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man? He is great. The suit is great. To me, the best suit I've ever seen. He looks phenomenal. The coloring looks great. He gives you so many options when it comes to posing. And again, as I mentioned before, I want to get every single figure from the No Way Home movie. So obviously this would be my 4th figure, along with the black and gold suit, the integrated suit, and of course the lizard. So we got 4, and I believe we have about 8 or 9 more to go. So obviously, as I keep receiving each figure, I will definitely be showing you guys more. Always want to remind you to subscribe to my channel and to turn on the notifications bell, so that way you guys can stay updated with my upcoming videos. We soon should be getting the next No Way Home figure, so stay tuned in for that. But yes, this figure was purchased off of Sideshow Collectibles, even though they took a little bit longer than they usually do to ship and deliver the figure. Still, they did ship it really quick whenever it was ready to arrive. And I am so glad that I got this figure. Very happy with it, very satisfied, and a figure that I really highly recommend. As you guys can see with the posing, so many options when it comes to him. So very glad I picked them up. As usual, guys, want to thank you for the continued support. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel and supporting my accounts. I promise you that I will not disappoint when it comes to content. Speaking of content, I said whenever I reviewed the lizard that I would pose him with the Amazing Spider-Man once I receive them. And there you guys have it. As I mentioned, with that flight pole, which is really big, it doesn't give me too many options. But at the same time, I feel like this pose is something that I really like. As you guys can see, we have also the cure on the left hand of Andrew Garfield. So before I end the video, guys, always want to remind you that I am on TikTok and Instagram. On there, I post shorter versions of the unboxings along with pictures of the figures. Feel free to add me there, and of course, subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for the continued support and for viewing this video. If you guys have any questions or any comments on things that I can do better, feel free to let me know, and I will gladly respond back. But for now, this is it for this video, and I will see you guys next time.